10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go guys. Spesial program 3.3.
Hey traveler, what a surprise.
Oh, ada Itto guys.
I didn't expect to see you here. I bet you didn't waste any time as soon as you heard that.
Apakah Itto akan rerun ya guys di update kali ini?
Right? Huh? I know you. Oh, what am I doing? Well, obviously I'm here scouting out the place. I've been investigating the area and I've already figured out all the plans for the event. Of course, I can tell you all the details. We're practically family. I'm Max Middleman, and this is the Genshin Impact version 3.3 special program.
Okay.
Let's roll the version 3.3 trailer.
Ini trailernya guys.
A friendly word of
Udah hadir
advice.
kan?
Test of courage events tend to give rise to a variety of strange rumors and stories. So please, be sure to exercise caution.
Masih nggak ada subtitlenya guys.
How was that? Were you scared?
Si Itto. Oh, ada Goro juga guys. Oke, ini kesempatan gua guys untuk dapetin Goro. What? Yoimiya? Lagi? Oh, siapa nih guys? Karakter baru kan? Oke, Dotore.
Jester, I have completed the task you gave me.
From this day forth,
Oh, apa ini guys?
and Kabukimono
Derminsul ya?
will cease to exist.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Oke.
Dottore.
Wah.
Dottore. In that case, I'll take
Ada
some
A juga
time
ya
to
tadi ya?
myself now.
Anemo, oke, Wanderer guys. Katanya dia bisa mid air combo gitu guys. Jadi playstyle-nya ada yang baru lagi di Genshin. Oke, menarik sih. Wah, gila sih efeknya. Wah, Faruzan guys. B4-nya ya? Wah, menarik sih ini. Wah, anjir. Apakah nanti si Wanderer akan melawan Skaramus guys? Bisa jadi sih. All scenes clear, all existence void. Oke. Oke guys, rhythm code pertama 8A RAU 6FNBNPV. Oke, dapat 100 prime gem. Ini akan berlaku sampai besok siang jam 12. Jadi cepetan di rhythm ya. Nanti gue juga akan rhythm kok. Pastinya lah, siapa yang nggak mau gratisan gitu kan. Lumayan untuk nabung untuk A guys. Dan untuk dapetin Layla juga. Kemarin gue ke Spook Yaimiko kan di Jawara Jaya. Shit itu. Tapi gak apa-apa sih, gue udah nyoba Yaimiko, udah gue tingkatin juga. Dan itu enak banget guys untuk bermain bersama Nahida. Gila, damage-nya gede banget. Ini yang jatuh Skaramus ya. Apakah nanti akan ada 2 Skaramus guys? Oh ya, katanya nanti karena Genshin Impact itu memenangkan apa ya, kayak penghargaan top game gitu.
Hey everyone, and
kita bisa ngasih nama Skaramus sendiri guys.
3.3 special program. I'm your host, Sarah Miller Cruz, the voice of Lumine in Genshin Impact. And today I'm joined by
Max, the one and only Middleman, voice of
Itto.
the one and only Arataki Itto.
And I'm Patrick Pedraza, voice of the Wanderer. But up until now, travelers have only known me as Scaramouche, and everyone's been battling me in the game lately.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, it's a really cool fight.
It's a really cool fight.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I'm super excited to have the chance to share some upcoming content with everyone. What did you all think about that trailer?
Okay, so I definitely saw Irminsul in there, and I am really
Iya, ada
excited to
Irminsul
find out
tadi
more
guys,
about
tapi
it.
bentuknya beda ya.
Yeah, that trailer had everything. It had everything. It had action. It had drama. It was lighthearted in places, but it was dramatic.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just super stoked for everyone to see Scaramouche's, like, backstory. I'm super excited about it, for reals.
Heck yeah.
Well, speaking of that, following the story's development, Scaramouche is still in Nahida's custody. So I bet the question everyone's wanting to know is how he'll become the Wanderer.
Yeah, for sure. And there's quite a story.
Itulah yang bikin kita penasaran, guys.
If you're interested, then be sure to play through the Archon Quest interlude chapter in
Gimana caranya
Genesis.
seseorang berasal dari Inazuma mendapatkan vision berbentuk Sumeru ya, bentuknya visionnya Nahida, tapi elemennya animo gitu.
Alright, how can I say no to a cute chibi Itto?
Tapi gue punya sedikit teori sih guys, nanti gue akan jelasin di akhir video ya. Oke, ini Irmin Sul.
We ran into two people at the academia today talking about an essay.
Tapi bentuknya baru ya guys.
The topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. From what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Pretty rad.
Oke, menarik.
Why are they talking about Tatarasuna?
I guess we'll have to see. It is interesting, though, to see the Traveler, Nahida, and Scaramouche all together so peacefully like that.
Yeah, but in this interlude chapter, Nahida will task the Traveler and Paimon with keeping an eye on Scaramouche while we go with him into Irminsul in search of some information.
Oh, interesting. So obviously,
jadi nanti kita bertiga, yaitu si Lumin, Paimon, dan si Scaramouche atau Wanderer. Dengan perintah Nahida, kita akan pergi ke Irminsul guys, untuk mencari sebuah informasi.
No, right. And at this point, he's known by a completely different name, the Wanderer. I love that name.
Okay, so I know I'm not the only one who's curious about what happened. I mean, it looks like he's really changed a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm afraid that's all we can show for now. Travelers will have to experience the story for themselves in-game. I mean, it's better to explore the storyline without too many spoilers, right?
True.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, we'll leave the rest for travelers to discover themselves. But the Wanderer is also going to be a new playable character in version 3.3. So let's talk about that. I'm sure many of our viewers are curious about his talents.
Heck yeah, sure thing. Let's have a look at the Wanderer in combat.
Oke guys, ini adalah leak dari skill si Wanderer.
It's rather pathetic to force a conversation just to occupy silence.
The wind rises.
Mid-air combo.
Bow your head.
Gue masih nggak tahu sih seberapa efektifnya ya mid-air combo
Help
itu.
introduce the Wanderer for us.
Sure thing. The Wanderer is a catalyst user and has an animo vision,
so
he uses wind blades to perform ranged normal attacks.
Wait a second, wind blades?
Not the same as the Traveler's wind blade, though.
Okay.
So, as everyone probably already noticed, the Wanderer can hover in the air.
Wah, anjir, ada jetnya, guys.
Upon using his elemental skill, he will first deal AoE damage before leaping into the air and entering.
Wah, itu bagus banget sih buat eksplorasi sih.
So, while hovering, the Wanderer's normal and charge attacks will be converted into Kugo, Fushudan, and Kugu Tofukai, respectively. The damage they deal and their AoE will be increased.
Wah, enak banget ya, bisa nyerang musuh yang terbang gitu.
And charge attack damage, respectively. Also, Kugu Tofukai will not consume stamina, and he can remain hovering for a certain duration.
That's so awesome! He can fly!
I know, right?
Bayangin aja kalian bisa naik-naik ke tebing Genshin Impact yang biasanya tuh nyebelin, sekarang jadi gampang, guys.
Maintain his hovering state, which is the blue meter you see on the screen. Even if he doesn't move or attack, hovering will still consume Kuguryoku points.
Okay.
So this mechanic works a little differently than our typical stamina meter. There are many possible actions the Wanderer can perform while hovering in the air, which all rely on Kuguryoku points rather than stamina.
Oke, jadi stamina yang warna biru itu nggak akan ngaruh apa-apa guys sama stamina yang warna kuning.
To accelerate midair, and holding the sprint button will cause persistent point consumption to maintain speed. So this effect will replace his default sprint. Jumping expends extra Kuguryoku points to increase hovering height. Holding jump will cause persistent Kuguryoku point consumption.
Oke, cara terbangnya itu
hovering height.
Tombol spasi di hold ya guys.
Points will end his hovering state.
Okay, so travelers will need to plan their actions while hovering.
Exactly. So with his talent,
menurut gua build-nya kayak Heizo sih ntar.
When casting his elemental skill,
dia bukan EM ya,
hydro, pyro, cryo, or electro, that instance of the skill will receive a
wah, enak banget itu jetnya guys.
Depending on which element was contacted. So for example, increasing his Kuguryoku points cap, attack, crit rate, or restoring a set amount of energy upon hitting opponents with a normal or charged attack. The Wanderer can have up to 2 different kinds of these buffs simultaneously.
Ooh.
Oh, look, check that out. Part of the halo behind him changes color depending on the buffs you get. So travelers will be able to easily understand what effects the Wanderer currently has.
I like that.
Mirip-mirip dengan ya. Jadi stacknya itu di lingkaran belakangnya itu guys.
After unlocking another talent, Gales of Reverie, when the Wanderer is in the hovering state, if his normal or charge attack hits an enemy,
setiap kalian
there is a set
melakukan elemental reaction, nanti itu stacknya akan nambah 1 gitu guys.
Sprint midair without consuming Kuguryoku points. Additionally, this buff effect will fire wind arrows to attack the enemy.
Oh, dope. I'm sure extra buff effects like that will go a long way for players when they're in combat.
Yeah, for sure. And if you've noticed, there is a colorful aura of light around his body to indicate when that buff effect is triggered.
I saw that.
That's pretty cool. I love all the detail they've put into the Wanderer.
Alright, this brings us to the Wanderer's elemental burst.
Ini ya, elemental burst-nya.
So, check this out.
Dia akan ngeluarin Rasengan tapi pakai kaki gitu guys.
He compresses the atmosphere and stomps it down toward the enemy. So, travelers should note that if the Wanderer is in a hovering state when he unleashes his burst, then the hovering state will end and he will begin descending after the burst is completed.
Okay, this stomping animation is a little aggressive.
Kalau kalian sedang terbang lalu mengeluarkan elemental burst, maka mode terbangnya akan segera berakhir, guys.
Wait. Let's not forget about the exploration talent.
Yes. This is an interesting one. The Wanderer can decrease the Mora required when
ada senjata baru ya, guys. Remembrance. Okay.
Alright, now that we've seen the Wanderer, let's move on to the next.
Bentuknya kayak lonceng gitu guys.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yay!
Okay, Faruzan guys.
I'm old now, so every other phrase escapes my ears. Try calling me Madam Faruzan, and I'll see if I can pick that up.
Dia adalah seorang dosen ya di Sumeru. Lumayan terkenal juga guys karena kepintarannya. Tapi terkenal galak juga guys. Wah, menarik sih.
You'd like to learn more about different forms of pressure-based puzzle mechanisms, the base layer design of elemental monuments. Wait, did you forget to call me Madam Faruzan just now when you asked your question? Whoa, what? There's nothing wrong with being afraid of thunder, even at an older age.
Oh, she sounds
Faruzan, guys.
And smart too.
She seems so awesome.
She's fun.
I wonder what her skirt's made.
I know her design is so.
Kemarin gue nyangkanya dia bakalan jadi bintang 5 juga, guys.
So even though she looks super young, she's actually an old person. Like, where's my teeth?
Well, she's not that old.
Oh right. Faruzan's age is probably still nothing compared to Scaramouche.
Dia adalah seorang peneliti dari 100 tahun lalu, guys. Oke. Tapi masih muda banget ya.
Think about it, yokai can also live a really long time too.
That's right. Yeah, no, and speaking of age, isn't the traveler's age also kind of mysterious?
That's true. It looks like all of our characters are intriguing. But it's safe to say that Faruzan is way older than most people in Tibet. Faruzan works in the Academia's Haravatat Darshan and has been a hairbod, which roughly means mentor, for over a century.
So I bet everyone else
100 tahun guys, dia jadi dosen.
A creature blessed with long life, you know? Like Klee?
No, she's actually just your regular, typical human being.
Oh.
Well, maybe not so
Oke.
typical.
Dia bukan dari bangsa elf ya guys.
Faruzan was an
Gak seperti
undisputed
Klee dan
genius,
kawan-kawan elf
traveling all
lainnya.
around Sumeru and solving many puzzles and mysteries. The notes she left behind eventually became the basis of mechanical research for later generations.
Whoa, she sounds pretty amazing.
But later, she accidentally stumbled into some ruins while trying to solve a puzzle. There, she encountered some strange phenomenon which stopped her from aging. And
Dia tuh
was
sangat
trapped
paham
there for
sama
nearly
naskah
100
kuno dan
years.
juga
She eventually
segala
solved
macam
the
tentang
puzzle and was
mesin-mesin
able
ruin
to
itu
finally
guys.
return to Sumeru.
Can you imagine being trapped in a puzzle for 100 years? Wait. So that's how she's been hairbod for over a century.
Yeah. And even now, she still has the pride of a scholar in her heart and is a very talented person. It's just that after being separated from the world for so long, she's kind of fallen behind the times now.
Oh, hey, I get what you mean. She was once a proud researcher in a niche field that has become unpopular after...
Gue tertarik sih sama Faruzannya
So,
guys.
is she still completely dedicated to her field?
Yep.
Bukan
And
berarti
she
gue
also
gak
tries
tertarik
using
dengan
her
Wanderer
old
ya guys.
age as a means of drumming
Tapi
up
karena
support
setelah
for
Wanderer ada A.
However, I think she'd prefer to be complained about for
Itu
using
jadi
her
alasan gua,
seniority
guys.
rather than garnering sympathy for her experience of being trapped in the ruins.
Yeah, sounds like she's quite the character.
I know, right? Okay, so now that we've covered her backstory, why don't we take a look at Faruzan's abilities in combat?
Let's do it.
Oke, let's go. Kita lihat ya talent kitnya si Faruzan.
100 years have passed.
Oh, dia bau
There
guys.
hasn't been any change to those dumb rules at the academia. Dare to mess with me?
Stringless ya?
Have fun with this gift.
Oh, tipenya EW gitu ya dia
I
guys.
love all the geometric shapes when she's playing. Did you guys see that?
Yes, there's so much geometry, and I took geometry.
It looks so cool.
Ah, yeah.
So, Faruzan is an animo character, and she wields a bow as her weapon. Her normal attacks
Normal
are the
attack-nya,
usual
guys.
bow attacks you'd expect
Biasa
from a
ya,
bow user,
kayak,
so there's not
karakter
too much
bow
to say
lainnya.
about that. But her skills are where things get interesting. Her elemental skill deploys
Wah, ngeri
and
guys.
deals damage to enemies. After using her skill, her next aimed shot will become a special attack that creates a vortex, pulling nearby objects and opponents in.
Oh, nice. So she can clump enemies together.
Wah, itu
And
boleh
there's
sih
also
elemental
another thing about
skillnya.
her special charged attack. It will create a vortex effect at its point of impact, and if the attack hits an enemy or ally member, it'll apply a mark and create a vortex after a short delay.
Okay. So it looks like there will be a lot of potential uses for this attack. Travelers will have to experiment with it and see what they come up with.
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing to try hitting teammates with the arrow in co-op mode and have them charge into the enemies to group them all together. I'll have to see who wants to try that with me. After unlocking the talent Impetuous Flow, the time required
Oke, bomnya Klee bisa ke satu tempat gitu ya guys.
And the arrow will reduce the target enemy's animo resistance. In her elemental burst, she deploys a dazzling polyhedron and releases a whirlwind pulse. Throughout its duration, the dazzling polyhedron will continuously move along a triangular path. Once it reaches each corner of that triangular path, it will unleash one more whirlwind pulse.
Yeah, 1 minute she's here, the next she's gone for 100 years. Bada boom!
No. Even Sino's jokes are funnier than that.
It was pretty
All
funny.
right. Anyway, let's hear what effects these whirlwind pulses have.
Sure. When the whirlwind pulse hits opponents, it will decrease their animo resistance. It will also apply an animo damage buff effect to all nearby party members when it's unleashed. Travelers should note that the effective range of this buff is quite large, and it's not just within the whirlwind pulse
Untuk burstnya
itself,
nanti
so
dia akan
there's
ngeluarin
no need
kayak
to go chasing the polyhedron. After
apa ya namanya guys, kalau bentuk-bentuk gitu kayak bentuk kristal gitu, nanti dia akan ngeluarin AoE damage juga guys.
Elemental skills or elemental burst.
Tapi sepertinya untuk target penyerangannya dia seperti Yaemiko ya guys, dia akan random gitu.
This effect can only be triggered once for a certain duration of time.
Oh, so it seems she'll be the solid support.
Yeah.
Totally. And as a researcher of mechanics and puzzles, Faruzan has taken it upon herself to explore many ruins, with her travels taking her all across Sumeru. Her exploration talent reflects this. and she gains more rewards when dispatched on a Sumeru expedition for 20 hours.
Pasifnya itu kalau kita melakukan ekspedisi akan menambahkan ini ya guys, barang-barangnya.
Yeah, I gotta say that's pretty hard to beat. So, the big question is, when can travelers expect to get these new characters?
That is a good question. Let's talk about the upcoming event wishes. In the early part of version 3.3, the Wanderer and
Oke, phase 1 akan diisi oleh Wanderer, Arataki, Itto, dan Faruzan guys. Oke.
Her debut in these event wishes. In the later part of version 3.3,
wah,
we'll be seeing
phase 2 guys, Raiden Shogun dan Kamisato Ayato guys. Oke.
And last but not least, the new 5-star catalyst.
Ini weaponnya Wanderer guys. Palaitullah Remembrance. Oke.
2 brand new artifact series will become available. So
katalis ya tipenya, bintang 5 juga. Bentuknya kayak lonceng gitu guys. Ada artefak baru juga, Desert Pavilion Chronicle, Anemo Damage bonus 2 setnya. Habis itu ketika kita melakukan charge attack, attack speednya akan bertambah 10% guys. Oke, kode kedua guys. Kode rhythm kedua, let's go. NS8BD6EP-S77Z guys. Sekali lagi ini hanya akan bertahan sampai besok jam 12 guys. Jadi langsung aja. Jadi fix ya, yang rerun di sini akan ada Arataki Itto, Raiden Shogun, dan si Kamisato Ayato guys. Lalu untuk karakter barunya ada Faruzan sebagai B4 dan Wanderer sebagai B5-nya guys.
Welcome back to the version 3.3 special program. Oke, Patrick.
Oke, ada event baru ya guys, namanya Akitsu Kimo Dameshi.
That's right. We've already mentioned the Test of Courage event, and I'm sure plenty of you were wondering about that.
Ada hadiah limitednya juga, yaitu sebuah senjata.
You must be here to participate in the Test of Courage.
Oke, ini eventnya ya guys.
I already see a dark aura surrounding the two of you. If you carelessly go running into the event, all it'll take is
sepertinya nanti kita akan kembali ke Inazuma guys.
Will swallow you up. Some strange and
rada-rada horor gitu anunya guys, tema-temanya gitu guys.
If you ever feel you can't handle it, you may withdraw from the event at any time. This is your last chance. I'll count it down. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Test of Courage. Enter at your own risk.
That was pretty interesting.
Tuh guys, kita nanti akan mendapatkan senjata pedang berupa seperti payung ya guys. Payung bergambar seperti monster gitu, mata satu. Lalu kita juga pasti akan mendapatkan refinement-nya, yaitu parasol talcu. Dapat crown juga, primogem, buku talenta juga guys.
We've already got the rules down, so I'll do a quick introduction.
Oke.
Travelers will have to control
oh, seperti main ini ya guys. Apa sih namanya? Game-game jadul itu loh, yang main kita main pental-pental bola. Yang punya BlackBerry pasti ngeh guys.
During the game, travelers will be able to trigger elemental reactions to break bricks more effectively.
Oke, jadi tetap ada elementalnya juga ya guys.
Yeah. We can control the character.
Di sini sepertinya di situ ada elektro, ada Cyro, ya ada semua elemen lah. Yang tengah itu pasti Cyro guys.
Okay, all the pieces are falling in place now. The bar can infuse a certain element, and the blocks also have their own element, so causing a skill ball of one element to hit blocks of.
Kalian yang pernah punya BlackBerry pasti paham lah guys game ini.
Yep, you nailed it. The bar will add the element corresponding to your character. Besides triggering reactions the way you just mentioned, if a skill ball is already infused by an element and it hits the bar, it will also trigger a reaction, causing the skill ball to have some additional effects.
Yang pernah main Nintendo juga pasti paham guys.
To receive various buff effects. which will help you successfully clear the challenge.
Sama kayak
Also, when there are less than a certain amount of bricks on the board and the ball lands another hit, the bar will unleash fireworks.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. Travelers can utilize this effect to break some bricks that would normally be difficult to hit directly.
Dengan adanya karakter Yoimiya, kita bisa menembakkan kembang api, guys.
Travelers will need to select characters of the right elements, equip the appropriate modifiers, and use different elemental reactions to break bricks and score more points.
And then travelers will be
jadi wadah tatakannya yang kita geser ke kanan ke kiri itu akan mengikuti elemen dari karakter yang kita pakai, guys.
Teaming up and playing the event together in co-op mode.
Oh, looks like a lot of fun.
Tuh, kita pakai Toma, dia akan berubah jadi Pyro.
In addition to this mini game, the Test of Courage storyline
menarik, guys, untuk eventnya ya.
Travelers will even have a chance to meet with some good friends again, so be sure to check out this new event. Alright, let's move on to our next event.
Okay, so next
ini event selanjutnya, guys. Dapat Primo Gem juga.
Your objective, collecting balloons.
Jadi misi utamanya itu kita harus mengumpulkan balon, guys, di Mondstadt, guys.
So, in this event, each stage will have
Wah, ini pasti event yang khusus banget buat Wanderer sih. Meskipun kita bisa pakai karakter lain karena di situ terlihat ada gelombang angin gitu ya, guys. Tapi kalau pakai Wanderer pasti enak banget sih ini eventnya.
So, it'll be important to assemble the right team depending on the traits and terrain of the challenge area.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so travelers can also use something called the Wilderness Compass to obtain various buffs, which include
enhanced jumping capabilities,
increased movement speed, or unlimited stamina, etc.
Cool.
However, you can only claim one buff during each challenge. You must
dalam satu misi atau dalam satu tantangan kita cuma bisa pakai satu buff, guys. Jadi pastikan kalian memilih buff yang benar ya, guys, biar gak ulang-ulang.
Or interacting with blessed energy in the challenge. Or you can always wait for the compass to passively charge over time.
Yo, this event looks pretty crazy. It's almost like watching parkour.
Yeah, there are two different kinds of wilderness balloons in these challenges. The first is harvest balloons, which will increase the overall progress of your search for wilderness balloons. The other kind is sonar balloons, which will cause several harvest balloons to appear around you for a set amount of time.
That's awesome.
So there will be 5 stages available for this event, and travelers will need to consider the conditions and terrain of each stage to come up with the best way to complete it. Also, travelers may team up in co-op mode for challenges.
Ooh, more chances to play together. I love it.
Yeah, same. Okay, let's move on to our next event.
Everyone's favorite game of hide and seek is back with the Wind Trace event. And of course, this is going to be another co-op event, and I, for one, am super excited for it.
Cool. There's nothing like a good co-op. Many of you might already be familiar with this event by now, but there have been a few changes. Let me introduce what travelers can expect to see this time around. We can probably skip some of the basics this time. You know, players either hide or seek. And then...
Okay, wait a second. There actually might be some new travelers out there who've never seen this event before. So why don't you start with some of the basics?
Right, good point. Okay, let's start at the beginning then. This is a game with a long history in Mondstadt. Travelers will be split into 2 different sides, the rebels and the hunter. You will need to use skills and master the art of hiding or chasing down others to win this event. The goal of the hunter is to capture all the rebels, while the rebels run or use other means to keep themselves from getting caught by the hunter.
Okay, that's straightforward enough.
Kalian pernah main DBD nggak, guys? Dead by Daylight?
Some travelers may remember.
Jadi di sini akan ada 4 orang bermain. Satu menjadi hunter dan 3-nya itu jadi yang lari gitu, guys. Atau sembunyi. Oke, menarik, guys. Lucu nih, guys.
This time around, once you're caught, you'll still be able to participate in the match even in observer mode.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Once you're in observer mode, you can't be seen by other players and will receive the illusory beacon skill. This skill will allow you to place a random beacon to confuse the hunter. If your beacon successfully tricks the hunter and is destroyed, then the hunter will suffer an obscured vision effect.
Oke, kita bisa menaruh sebuah benda untuk mengelabui hunternya ya, guys.
Trying to help your teammates by disrupting the hunter.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. And at least you won't have to sit there and just watch the rest of the match anymore.
Exactly, but what does the hunter get this time? I mean, we gotta keep it fair.
Some new windward arts have been added for both the hunter and the rebels. the hunter will now be able to use the hunter's net. This net can be thrown and will remove any rebel disguises within its range, and will notify the hunter that a rebel was detected. If a beacon is caught in the net, it'll be destroyed and the hunter will not suffer from obscured vision.
Nice. So, I guess if you love playing Hunter, you'll probably love this.
Oh yeah, you definitely should. The skill rebels used in previous versions of the game to place beacons can now only be used by players in observer mode. However, the rebels will be able to use an all-new concealing beacon skill. This skill will allow you to deploy a beacon for a set duration.
Jadi entah kalian itu rebel atau hunter, kalian tuh punya alat masing-masing, guys.
All players, including your rebel teammates, will be unable to see you while you're invisible. If the concealing beacon is destroyed by the hunter, then the hunter will have their vision obscured for a short time. Sounds pretty fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if you end up being captured by the hunter at the start of the game, you'll still be able to participate and assist your teammates. And
kayak gini tuh biasanya event yang nyusahinnya tuh jadi hunter, guys.
Good stuff. So be sure to check it
Dapat
out.
primo jam juga, guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Seriously, I can't wait to play with friends. Okay, our next event is a combat-based event.
Time for some combat!
Whoop, whoop.
In a forbidden place warded by dust and sand, mysterious foes have assembled.
Ada event yang terakhir sepertinya ya, guys. Misi Dungeon Realm of Sand. Ini akan menjadi event berkelahi, guys, katanya.
A new edition of Misty Dungeon will arrive in version 3.3. Stoked.
Sweet.
But this time around, there will be a total of 7 trials with different themes awaiting you in the Misty Dungeon. Each has a different leyline disorder, and travelers will have to adjust their teams according to the disorder's effects and the distribution of enemies. There will also be trial characters for you to select from as well. After entering the domain, travelers will need to go and complete 3 challenges to collect ancient runes. After collecting power from 3 ancient runes, we can power up the control array and proceed to the final challenge. Also, throughout the trial, additional benediction mechanisms and challenges will appear. Travelers may choose to interact with these to increase the leyline disorder's effects or revive and heal your team.
You know, if it were up to me, I'd say just go for all the challenges.
I know, but travelers should keep in mind that the challenge objective for each trial might be different, so be sure to check the objective and aim for that while proceeding. In terms of rewards, travelers can look forward to winning primo gems and other various prizes. Yes.
Ooh, I like prizes.
And last but not least, version 3.3 will also have leyline overflow events.
Okay, ada leyline overflow juga, guys.
And earning more Mora and experience books.
Nice, that's awesome. That'll be great for all the travelers out there still leveling up all their new characters. And even if you don't need those resources now, it's always good to stock up and have more on hand, am I right?
Yeah. So,
ini kesempatan bagi kalian yang ingin meningkatkan karakter kalian lagi, guys, karena hadiahnya akan dikali 2, guys.
In addition to the new version's limited time events, version 3.3 will also
TCG
be
dirilis, guys. Siap. Ini akan menjadi permanen event ya, guys. TCG.
But before we get into that, let's take another quick break and enjoy a redemption code.
Oke, redemption lagi, guys. Yang terakhir. Let's go, ET9SUPENB765, guys. Dapat 100 primo gem lagi, jadi total dari semuanya 300 primo gem, guys. Menarik ya, gue juga menunggu, guys, ini, guys, event TCG ini, karena gue lumayan tertarik untuk maininnya, guys. Kayaknya bakalan seru gitu loh. Tapi jangan bilang kalau kartunya kita harus beli pakai primo. Itu wah, sulit. Gacha nggak sih kartunya? Semoga aja enggak ya.
Welcome back, everyone! During our journey into VAT, we've stumbled across several NPCs talking about a game called Genius Invocation TCG. So next, we'll introduce this card game that's been taking to VAT by storm.
Oke, guys, ayo kita tonton bareng-bareng, guys.
We already revealed that Genius Invocation
Reveal dari
will be a card game where we
gameplay
can
permanen ini, guys.
and NPCs
Event permanen
or
maksudnya.
battle against your friends. But there is actually a legend behind this game. It is said that a young guy in Sumeru found an ancient casket of tomes in the attic. He opened it and discovered that the soul of an ancient TCG player called the Crocodile King had been captured inside.
Diambil dari penemuan seorang peneliti yang katanya ini dari seorang dari dewa Crocodile King gitu guys. Permainan ini berasal.
During the match, the Crocodile King fell prey to his opponent's scheme and was sealed away in the casket of tomes.
Ouch, game over.
After being unexpectedly released by the kid, the Crocodile King possesses him and helps him to gradually climb the ranks to becoming a legendary TCG player.
Nice. Hang on, is it just me, or does that kind of sound like the plot to a light novel or something?
You're right. It turns out that Yai Publishing House is about to release a hit light novel series based on Genius Invocation TCG.
Okay, now this is starting to sound like a plug for Yai Publishing House.
Maybe. But anyway, that's the legend on how Genius Invocation TCG came to be. Though it's probably just a story they came up with for marketing the game.
So while you were telling us
jadi
about
yang
the story,
memarketing game ini tuh Yai guys, Yai Miko guys.
Basically, Genius Invocation TCG is a game where you use a constructed deck of cards to duel against an opponent. The objective is to defeat all of your opponent's character cards.
Guys, menarik guys.
That's right.
Also, there are many features and mechanics in the game that resonate with Genshin Impact's gameplay, so it shouldn't be too hard for players to get the hang of.
Right, I even saw some elemental reactions in the gameplay.
Yup, a constructed deck must contain character cards. And as you might expect, these character cards have a normal attack, an elemental skill, and an elemental burst. So when a character card deals elemental damage to an enemy, it will cause them to be affected by
menarik sih ini guys.
Then, you can switch to a character card of a different element and use their abilities to trigger an elemental reaction.
Wait, did you guys notice that there are even monster character cards? Can we even make a deck of, like, just the monsters from the game?
You're really getting into this, Max.
Heck yeah, I am! I like card games!
Who doesn't?
Wah, animasinya bagus guys.
So, in Genius Invocation TCG, all actions require you to spend elemental dice.
Perdebatan. Ini elemen apa ya guys?
You and your opponent will roll
Apakah nanti akan ada elemen baru guys?
Each of these elemental dice can have any one of 8 elemental attributes.
Hold on, but there's only 7 elements in the world of Tevat.
You're right. So, in addition to the 7 standard elements, there's also one called the Omni Element.
Omni Element guys namanya
required for a character card to perform an action correspond to the character's element. So, for example, a Pyro character like D-Luke needs either Pyro or Omni Elemental dice to perform an action. Clear now?
Jadi di sebelah kiri sini itu akan ada dadu ya guys.
Elemental dice can be used to switch
Jadi untuk D-Luke itu agar bisa mengeluarkan skill dia butuh beberapa dadu gitu, dadu pyro. Nah, untuk yang Omni Element itu nanti akan menjadi apa ya? Terserah kalian mau dipasangin dengan apa guys itu. Jadi dia akan dihitung sebagai dadu apa yang ingin kalian mainin gitu.
As your level increases, you'll be able to challenge more characters and NPCs. By completing challenges, you may earn lucky coins, new cards, or other rewards.
Ada Primo Gem juga guys.
Can be exchanged in the event shop for cards.
Ternyata nggak pakai Primo Gem ya guys. Kita akan pakai koin guys.
Dynamic skins? Those are cards that have moving illustrations, right?
Menarik.
That's right. All character cards can unlock a dynamic skin. After unlocking that, there'll even be a cool bonus animation whenever you cast that character's element.
Wah, efeknya itu loh guys, bagus banget guys.
And if you're confident in your TCG skills, you can also invite a friend to duel. After reaching a high enough player level, you'll even unlock a matchmaking mode. So, be sure to give it a try.
Travelers should note that playing against your friends or other travelers won't count towards any leaderboards or provide any rewards. So, you can relax. It's all just for fun. Okay, that's everything we have for Genius Invocation TCG, and that brings us to the end of today's special program. So, what did you think?
Why does it have to be
Oke, itu udah semuanya ya guys.
That this version has to offer.
Yeah, I can't even take it all in right now. I'm just super stoked to be part of this. I think I just gained some Kuguryoku points just doing this whole thing, so.
Gua nggak sabar untuk nerusin Archon Quest dan juga ini guys, gameplaynya yang TCG barusan guys.
I know, that's awesome.
That's super dope.
Lumayan lah guys, ada game-game kayak gitu untuk ngisi waktu luang gitu kan. di sela-sela kalian udah ngerjain misi harian atau spiral abyss gitu kan.
This was so fun. I'm really glad that we got to do the special program together.
I'm so happy I got to come back for another special program. This is my 3rd time being on one of these, and I can't wait for number 4. I'm counting.
I'm so happy. This is my first one, so thank you for having me.
Doesn't it feel good?
Yes.
Doesn't it feel good to feel special?
Seriously,
Do you feel special?
I really do. Thank you.
Well, I think this is the end of our special program. So, I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we'll see you in game. Oke, bye.
Oke, kelar guys. Spesial program 3.3-nya guys. Oke, jadi kedepannya akan lebih banyak event lagi ya guys. Tentunya juga akan ada Arkon Quest 3.3 yang menceritakan bagaimana akhirnya si Skaramus itu tobat dan mendapatkan Anemo Vision guys. Lalu juga akan ada gameplay permanen baru, yaitu tadi TCG itu. Kan ada event-event lainnya juga yang kecil-kecilan, seperti yang mengumpulkan balon dan yang bertarung tadi itu. Akan menjadi ladang Primojem baru bagi kita para F2P. Lalu ya guys, jangan lupa juga untuk di redeem, tadi ada 3 redeem code. Nanti akan mendapatkan 300 Primojem. Dan ini hanya bertahan sampai besok jam 12. Gua mohon maaf sekali lagi kalau suara gua rada bindeng karena gua memang lagi sakit guys. So, mungkin videonya sampai di sini dulu. Jangan lupa like, share, and subscribe. AG sign out. Thank you guys.